I also post what I'm reading in my room. I have little posters in both my elementary and my middle school, high school library that says Mrs. Malphy is reading, and then I change those as I'm changing my books. And it's fun to see the conversation that's generated by what I'm reading. Oh, hey, I was reading that I Survived book, and what did you think of it?
Hello, friends, and welcome to Season 6 of the Future Ready Librarian podcast series, Leading from the Library. This is a podcast for all librarians wherever you are in your journey. It is filled with amazing guests, important topics, and engaging conversations that will inspire, engage, and support all of us as future-ready librarians. I am your host, Shannon McClintock Miller. I am the district teacher librarian at Van Meter Community School in Van Meter, Iowa, and serve as the Future Ready Librarian spokesperson. I have the pleasure of working within my library and school community and also with others around the country and world through Future Ready Librarian events, conferences, consulting, writing, and more. I am honored to bring these voices and the work of others to our podcast and to all of you. And today, I am so excited to catch up with my friend, Jennifer, who is right up the road in Wisconsin from me here in Iowa. And it is so good to have you on and just to talk to you, Jennifer. We have so many things in common with our schools, as you guys will hear. But let's just start by having you introduce yourself.
All right, I am Jennifer Malphy. I am a 4K-12 librarian at Kickapoo area schools in Viola, Wisconsin. We are a very small rural school. We have approximately 500 students, 4K through seniors. Some may say when you are a 4K through 12 librarian that, oh my gosh, I could never do that job. I absolutely love it because I can go, like from today, I went from working with preschoolers in 4K to the next hour of my day, I was working with high school students. And I know that's not for everyone, but for me, I love it. This is my 26th year doing this job. So I obviously really like this job. And that's just my job is never boring. So that's what I love about it.
So are you guys in one building?
We are one building, and we are very fortunate to be that way because that allows for a lot of collaboration between, like, we have some high school English classes who will go down and like read downstairs to our littles. And it forms such a bond that those younger students look up to our high school kids, and it's really neat. We're able to do a lot of cool collaborations that not a lot of schools, I think, can do because they aren't in the same building.
I know that's one of my favorite things about Van Meter. And Hagen, he's my youngest. He's been there, been around since he was born, but he has been in school the whole time and he's a senior now. And it's been so neat to see, like, when Hagen was like in kindergarten, like he got to know, the high school, like kids, and they would come down and work. And now the roles are reversed and Hagen is such a role model, being a football player, being like a great guy, like, coming down and we have this thing on Fridays where I think they do it like maybe once a month. Like it was more probably before like the pandemic, but we all do activities together on a Friday. So all of our high school kids and middle school, they have a class that they work with and they do these great like STEM activities. And it's something that our kids will never forget. And we're so lucky to be in a school that we're all under one roof. And the same with, I'm so fortunate. And one of my favorite parts is that we have our superintendent, we have our principals, we have everybody there. So
yeah, we have the same thing. And I have worked, the first district I worked in was like this too, a very small rural. We were all in one building. The second district that I have worked in was not, and we could never, there's no way just where we were placed around the city, there is no way we could ever have done any of these things. And like the one activity that I was talking about with the English classes, going down and reading to the littles, they call them their high school buddies. And it's so fun to see the elementary kids when they'll see these high school kids walking through, there's my high school buddy, or there's my high school buddy, you know. And my boys are freshman and sophomore in high school now, and they still talk sometimes occasionally about their high school buddy. And it's interesting and it's fun.
It is so neat. I know we're lucky. And like you said, we always have something different that we can do too. And I think that is one thing as I looked at the things that we were going to talk about today, and just like have known you now for several years. We've been friends online and we've done things collaboratively together. But I think one thing that the listeners would love to kind of wrap their heads around too is, what does a day in the life of a K-12 librarian look like? Like, what does that mean?
My days, like I said, are never the same. I start a few of my days during the week. I do have a prep period, which is very, very nice. I haven't always had that, but I do occasionally have kids that come in my room at that time, but that is fine. I can still do my things. I have a middle school keyboarding class that I teach, second hour every day. I love that because I'm able to like weave some technology stuff that I love to do in amongst the keyboarding that I'm teaching. So that is fun. I have a high school study hall that I have every day. And then I have high school kids come in my room throughout the day when I'm not teaching elementary classes. And some days that's more than others. Like there are like my Mondays and my Wednesdays in the afternoon, I am back to back with elementary. So I feel bad at that time that my high school kids really don't get to come in and utilize the library at that time, but it's just the way our schedule works out, and the teachers are very understanding of that. One thing I did implement with my students, oh gosh, this is over 10 years ago, I think, was self-checkout. And that has been a lifesaver for me because I do not have an aide in the library, and I haven't for probably 12 to 15 years now. And it's just so cool where the kids can come in, they know what they need to do. If they need to come and get a book when I'm teaching, that's fine. They know what to do, they can do it, and they're on their way back to class. Again, I have other duties at school too. I am our social media director with our Facebook, Instagram, webpage. I do that for the library and our school district. I'm also our high school student council advisor. So I wear many, many hats, and that's how I fill my day up, is with a lot of those hats that I wear.
Yeah, and it's so fun because like a lot of times I love when administrators, you're obviously like viewed as a great leader within your school. And I think that is one of the neat things too, is that you've shown that you can wear many hats, and that we can juggle things, that we also have that skill set. And also like, just, I always feel like, hey, why not try it? Like, why not try to do that? And I think that's one thing that has probably helped you so much. And I know that has been great within our school too. And one thing too that I absolutely love is watching all the things that you post about getting all of your readers inspired to read. And you do things within your library that are things too that are maybe small ideas to big ideas to things that you're celebrating. And I just want to know, like, and have our listeners hear how you inspire all of your readers.
Well, one thing I am very passionate about, and have been since I started this job 20 some years ago, is reading. And I have had people tell me that technology is going to take over for the reading. And I find that is something I think that is kind of getting, how do I say this? Put along the wayside with families because they're so busy. They've got so many activities, and with your different children that you have. And the reading is one thing that I love connecting with my kids, and that is something I will never give up. I meet with my elementary students 45 minutes a week, each class period, except for preschool. Preschool, I just do basically a story and check out. But I do activities. I try and do a lot of STEM activities with my kids after we're done reading. But the reading is something I don't ever want to give up. And I really think that's how I inspire that. I'm always trying to with what I'm reading to my kids, I usually try and have other books by either that author put out on display when I'm reading and encouraging the kids to check those books out. I also post what I'm reading in my room. I have little posters in both my elementary and my middle school, high school library that says Mrs. Malphy is reading, and then I change those as I'm changing my books. And it's fun to see the conversation that's generated by what I'm reading. Oh, hey, I was reading that I Survived book, and what did you think of it? And just the talk that we get into with the things like that poster and such. I'm also, during COVID, I tried doing some First Chapter Friday things with my middle school, high school kids, because that's a group that I kind of feel bad because of my schedule. I don't get to see as much as my elementary kids, but those kids who are readers will still make a point to come into the library. So I'm still reaching them. It may not be as directly as I would like to, but I'm still reaching them.
Oh, that's you do so great. And I find that too, that when we are in a school that is like K-12 or preschool to 12 or whatever, that you have those opportunities too, that say you have a reader, you say you have a kid who really wants to find a book, you have those opportunities and to see all those kids, even if it's not in the library. And
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the things that is special too about the way that our communities are set up.
Yes. Yes, it is.
And I know that you do things around like special celebrations and special events.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you celebrating right now?
Actually, we just got done not too long ago with Read Across America Week. So we've done a lot of different themes for that. Last year I kind of scaled it back a little this year because I had so many things I was going on at the same time. But last year we kind of did a traveling across the United States with minutes read, I should say, equaling distance to go across the United States and back again. And it was fun to see the competition for that. During the month of March here, I believe it's I Love Reading Month, and I have done a March reading bingo with all of my students and their families. And it's a little bingo sheet that I made up on Canva, and I just sent home with the kids. I told them it was something that was optional that they could do. And I actually had the students were just like begging me for another reading bingo since we did our winter break reading challenge. So that's what made me want to come up with something. And I thought with I Love Reading Month, that would work really good with that. I also celebrate Dot Day, which I know you do as well in September. It's a little harder for me because I'm just getting into the school year with Dot Day, and my art teacher and I have always wanted to collaborate on something, but it just never works out because it's like the second week of school or something. And I know you can celebrate Dot Day all year round, but it's just kind of nice to celebrate it on the actual day of Dot Day. Um, in the fall around Halloween time, I have done a design a ghost character contest where we have a ghost pattern, and then the kids are challenged to turn that ghost into a book character, and they've had a lot of fun with that. One contest I used to do a lot. I used to do this every year, and I guess since COVID, I had kind of it's gone by the wayside, but my kids have begged me this year, Mrs. Malphy, this has got to come back next year. And that's my potato book character contest. And I've always done that during Read Across America Week. And I decided this year to go the route of creating a bookmark instead of a potato character. But next year I will be going back to the potato book characters. I've also seen some posts on social media, instead of like doing a character, some people have done like a pop bottle, and I like making it into a pop bottle character. And I thought, ooh, I may try that too. I have not had problems with potatoes rotting in my room. I know some people have asked me that, but I have not, because I have a rule that the potato comes on Monday and the potato goes home or Thursday. If it doesn't go home by Thursday, it goes in the garbage can. So that's the way we work it. But I have had some super creative entries for both the book character contest that I did this year and the book or the potato book character contest that we have done. I'm trying to think of what some other things we have done. Summer and winter break reading bingo, a children's book week display I have done, and I haven't done this. Oh my gosh, I think I've only done this once at the school that I'm at right now. So I really need to do this again. But during children's book week, I have gotten pictures of our staff as little elementary kids. And then I have a book template and I put their picture on the one side. And then I put a picture of the book cover of their favorite book when they were kids. And then I turn it into a contest and have it in a display case where my students, basically my middle school, high school students, are guessing who the staff members are. And then I've had like a Barnes and Noble gift card for them or whatever as a prize for the winners. And that's been very, very popular when I've done that too. And I need to do that again because we've had a lot of staff changeover since the last time I've done it, with retirements and new staff and stuff like that. I'm actually doing something right now. It's not library related, but with senior pictures of staff members, because I'm posting all the senior spotlights right now for our seniors. And just the discussion around this display case has been amazing. Kids love seeing pictures of us when we were younger, yeah. No matter if we were elementary kids or seniors in high school.
Yeah, that is so fun. I love it all. That is so great. And again, one of, the best things I think about being in the library are those celebrations that we have. Mm-hmm. And one of my favorite things about working in a K-12 school is that we get to work with all the classroom teachers. And doesn't matter if it's like we have preschool, and I love working with them, all the way up to our seniors, our teachers who are teaching our oldest kids. And I know that you work with the classroom as well. And how do you, like, what does that look like for you?
What I do is I just basically tell my teachers that I'm available to help during library time, during any other time. And a lot of times, I'm going to be quite honest, the only time I really see my elementary kids are when I have them, because I am their teacher's prep time during that time. And so what I do is try and make myself available whenever they need me and tell them I'm here to help you, help your students with resources. In fact, just about a month ago, the third graders and I just got done with an animal research project, and we used Pebble Go for that. And they each picked an animal, and they were supposed to create like a Google slideshow. And one of my third grade teachers came to me and said, I just don't have time to do this project. Is this something you'd be interested in? And I love that kind of stuff. So granted, sometimes I think I bite off more than I can chew, because by the time, they had never used Chromebooks before. So it's getting them to log in. And that took some time. There were like the first couple class periods, that was almost our whole entire class period, is getting them logged in. But once they got into the research and got into, putting that stuff down into their Google Slides and then seeing their presentations, they were so excited. And I feed off of that because I love that kind of excitement and passion for what they're doing. So I really try and make myself available to the teachers. And if they've got ideas, I try and play off of those, and we work with that. And we do a lot of collaborating. I know this sounds strange maybe, but in the hallway when I take their kids back, hey, I've got this idea, would this work? And because that's when we both are available to talk to each other.
I bet they ask you a lot of questions too about how to just inspire the readers within their classroom as well.
Yeah, we talk about books. And a lot of our elementary teachers have had the posters up about what they're reading too. Our elementary principal asked us to do that. So that's generated some conversation with the kids there as well.
Oh, it's so exciting. And how about families and like community? Do you have a public library in your town?
We do have a public library, but the hours aren't real conducive to when our students and families can get there. They're both operating on such limited hours that it's hard. I do promote things in the local public libraries because we have a very, very active public library in a neighboring town that some of our students utilize, but it's not the town that most of our kids are from, because we're so rural, and we've just got little communities that we're from. And the two communities that our school is basically made up of, those libraries are open it's sporadic. I mean, they've got their times, but it's a few hours here and there. It's not as like open all day long would be.
Sounds like Van Meter. That's how Van Meter is too.
Yeah. And
it's important for us. Yeah.
Yeah. And I try and promote the public libraries as much as I can in what they're doing. And I understand in this, like, I try and promote the summer reading programs too, if they get me their information. And it's hard for families sometimes to get the students there because it just doesn't work with their work schedule in the summer.
Yeah. Well, you're doing so many amazing things. I love following all of the ways that you inspire like your readers, but also all of us. And I have a special place in my heart for your school because it's just like Van Meter. When I started, we had about 500 kids, and we actually have about 1,000 now. And so we have added on, and we're getting ready to add on again to our school. But my sister is in a small school in Iowa too, and they just keep shrinking. I think they have around 100 or less than 100 now within their elementary.
Oh, wow.
And maybe like 80 kids. And so she's a librarian too, and just in a really small school, but everybody's doing great things. And Jennifer, if people want to follow the work that you do, how can they find you on social?
I am on Twitter at jmalphy, JMALPHY. And then I am also on Facebook as Jennifer Malphy.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, my friend, for joining me. And it was just so great to catch up and hear all the great things that you're doing.
Well, thank you very much for all the work you do too.
Oh, thank you. It's just so neat to like hear others' stories and like grab. It doesn't matter if you're in a giant school or a little school, to grab those ideas from each other. And so I really appreciate it.
Yep.
So for our listeners, you're going to be able to find Jennifer's information attached to this podcast, along with resources and a certificate of professional development that you can download and fill out to use. As always, thank you to all of our listeners for joining us for this episode of the Future Ready Librarian podcast series, Leading from the Library. And a very special thank you to our sponsors, Follett. You make a difference in our libraries, schools, and within our lives and that of our students every day. We appreciate everything you do. I hope you can take what you learned in today's podcast and put it to use within your practice as a future-ready librarian. Until next time, friends, keep finding ways to lead within and from your library.